Now it's perhaps time for some of the clubs to look behind the scenes. I mean, Llansantffraid were a village of 900 people. They managed to get to a point to go full-time. So you can't say it's not achievable for everyone else. And then we say, well, oh, Mike, it's because of you. I say, no, there's other people in Wales who are very successful business people. It's down to those clubs to try and attract them to come into their club.
We've got the new stand behind you. How much of a symbol is that, of where you want to take this club, you know, in terms of getting more fans in, building more of a rapport with the community? Does that start with something like this?
Well, it does. As you can see, last season, I think we managed to grow our crowds by about 25% on the same games from the previous season. It's a long journey. I mean, we relocated to Oswestry, which is now 15 years ago, and it takes a long time to build a new fan base. Obviously, I know Llansantffraid isn't very far away, but it took time to transition from being a club at Llansantffraid to a club in Oswestry. There's players and youth that have come either through our academy and our programs with the schools, and as they've becoming into adults, they've started to bring themselves down here, and as they become and bring their own families, we started to make that progression where we're building a fan base, and that's probably a lifelong journey. And they also want to sit in environments which do show that you've got ambition and that you are planning for the future.
Yeah, and talking of ambition, so is it Europe?
Europe is
part of that.
Europe has always been our stated ambition to play in the group stage. We aren't going to deviate from that. We'd like to see the rest of the clubs within the Welsh domestic system step up and to possibly obtain full-time status. It's something which I think is achievable. Now it's perhaps time for some of the clubs to look behind the scenes. I mean, Llansantffraid were a village of 900 people. They managed to get to a point to go full-time. So you can't say it's not achievable for everyone else. And then we say, well, oh, Mike, it's because of you. I say, no, there's other people in Wales who are very successful business people. It's down to those clubs to try and attract them to come into their club.
Do you think there need to be changes in the league or to the way the league works for that to happen?
Well, the league's gone through a number of changes. I think the competition at the moment in terms of what it does for competition is good in terms of there's always something on the game. If you're in the top or the bottom half, you're playing to avoid relegation, or you're playing to try and get that top spot in the bottom half, or you're competing for Europe. Where back in the bad old days of the expanded league, some clubs would start off well, or they'd be well funded, then they'd realise they're getting nowhere but safe, the budget would change, and it really didn't drive better play on the pitch. I'm sure there's answers to what the fans want, because fans obviously would like to have more clubs in the competition, and as a fan myself, that would be brilliant. I don't know whether the limited funds that are within the system would be stretched to a level beyond the ability to make any difference. Would it mean that the actual competition drops to being not so competitive on the pitch, which means that when we come to compete in Europe, that we fall well short of even the lesser countries which are competing